It's thought that roughly 1 billion people living at sea level would be displaced by 1 meter sea level rise. While that may be true, it doesn't tell the whole picture. Global warming is unavoidable. The deconstruction of the ozone layer is going to happen no matter what. This has been happening for plenty of years now. A few reasons why it's been deconstructed is because acid rain and air pollution are blamed for eating away the ozone layer that we have. Acid rain is developed by toxic fumes given off by refineries. The toxic fumes are gases that are carried by the wind. Once the gases come together, precipitation, the gases dissolve and form acid rain. The ozone layer of gas high in the stratosphere that protects humans and any living animal or creature from ultraviolet rays. If it wasn't for an amazing ozone layer, we would not be alive. See how much warmer it's got in here? 1960 it's way down here, 2000 way up here. Wow. Ocean water temperature is rising regardless of what happens to global warming. While the temperature of the ocean is heating, it may or may not indicate another ice age. Because the ocean's temperature is rising, it will cause an increase in precipitation everywhere in the world. See, down here 1880 the water was at negative 0.2. 2000 it's already at 0.6. Wow. Air pollution can be improved, but will never have enough effect to stop global warming. 3 types of pollution that affect our country's fresh air are industrial mining, water pollution, and industrial wastes. One of the main causes of air pollution is the toxic chemicals from the mining industries. The mining industries give off toxic chemicals such as zinc, lead, and copper. Those 3 chemicals can completely destroy the Earth's natural soil and also add effects to many humans' health. Gary Gardner and Perel Samt argue that dependence on these chemicals is unwise because their long-term impact on human health is largely unknown. Gardner and Samt also conclude that mining is reasonably for the contamination of their 19,000 kilometers of rivers and streams in the United States. The majority of the mining in North Dakota is in the western part of the state. As of this time and date, there haven't been any issues of pollution from those mines. Another pollution that affects the health is water pollution. Water pollution affects the land, air, and also rivers, lakes, and streams. Some things that cause water pollution are feedlot manure, runoff, chemicals for crops, fertilizer, and garbage waste. Most of the northern parts of the United States have water pollution in the spring because the winter snow causes lots of flooding and erosion, and industrial wastes consist of fluid and runoff from streets and cities that have contaminated nearby ponds, lakes, and streams. One of the biggest scares in the world that caused by industrial waste is possibility of groundwater being contaminated. People have to eat other growing plants due to coastlines disappearing from the rising sea level. Because the coastline is disappearing, there are direct and indirect effects to living creatures and humans. Some of the effects that occur are direct health effects that people are forced to eat leaves after their yearly crop were destroyed. The people that were forced to eat leaves suffered from malnutrition. The Hadley Center predicts 18% more of the African population will suffer from hunger and malnutrition caused from climate changes. Malnutrition happens because of inadequate or unbalanced intake of nutrients. Sources figure that an extra 20 million people will be at risk in every one of the incoming years. Indirect effects are effects that are caused by the oxygen being polluted by diseases. An issue from New Scientist magazine reports that human disease is emerging as one of the most distressing indicators of climate change. People can breathe in a disease without even knowing until they have paleness of themselves. A disease that is spread by pests, insects, and other small creatures is called vector-borne disease. For example, humans are cold and algae during climate changes, but like in this situation, humans get very contagious because that can easily cause death. Bacteria and fungi are growing because of the temperatures of water and rising quickly. In January 1999, the New York Times reported that previously unknown bacteria, fungi, and viruses are beginning to bloom into the oceans as they warm. While the water temperature is warming, it kills coral and fish while also threatening the rest of the ocean's ecosystem. Human viruses were spreading into the warming seas of 1.8 million septic tanks along Florida's coast. Blooms sucks at Axalia terrans developed in the seas near Newfoundland. Because this was developed, it was affected many shellfish with a very contagious disease called PSP. People have told consumers who ate the shellfish that it can be very deadly. Most of the situations like this occur in the eastern coastline of the United States and also in Canada. A vast increase in pests will develop more diseases that were caused from global climate changes. Weeds and rodents can easily control an ecosystem if predators do not disturb them, but in this sense, a healthy ecosystem consists of many predators, so it also makes it impossible to cure. The predators in healthy ecosystems are snakes, owls, lizards, birds, and bats. The global climate change affects ecosystems across the world. In 1990, many predators such as coyotes, snakes, and owls were killed due to too many drought years. After the drought years passed by, heavy rains increased the rodent population because they enjoyed being around wet weather, even if it's contaminated. From what is said in this ocean topic, global warming is unavoidable. While that may possibly be true, it always doesn't tell the whole picture. The end.